Wow, we're delighted to say that award-winning director Danny Boyle is here now to tell us more. Good to see you, Danny. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks
I think
very
we're
much.
frightening the bejesus out of people today.
I know.
Between the curiosities and now this.
Between your sleeping bag and the infected running, it's quite a scary morning in Ireland.
Anyway, it's got everybody awake. Look, 28 days later, it was 23 years ago. Why was now the right time for you to return to this story?
Well, there's lots of reasons. Obviously, we've been through a couple of things that you can read in a film, like COVID, the emergency of COVID, which we all shared, and people used to talk about the opening of the original film when we emptied out the streets of London as being remarkably similar to what happened to us in the early days of COVID in all our cities around the world. And then we've had Brexit. You can read a bit of Brexit in there because they're isolated in the island. But it was the fans who kept screening the film in cinemas, and I'd go along and do Q&As, and they were rabid. They were like the infected for the movie. Whereas movies usually date a bit, you know, they kind of fade away and it's nostalgic, if anything. This was like current. And so I said to Alex Garland, we should probably have another go. And so we started coming up with an idea. And then your most famous son, Cillian Murphy, had a part to play in this, and he will have a part to play in it.
So we will?
He will eventually. He will eventually.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. Do you know, it's funny, I actually used 28 days later as a caption I put up in the middle of Dublin city centre during COVID. There was no one on the streets, and I was like, perfect, you know? You notably used none of the original cast from 28 days later in this film, 28 years later. Why did you and the writer, Alex Garland, why did you decide to start completely fresh with this cast?
Because we didn't want to make a very, what you would call a very close sequel, you know, that kind of identified. And this is where Cillian came into it, is that we talked to him and we agreed that he would feature in the second and third of a trilogy of films, because that's what we're trying to make, is 3 films that are satisfying on their own right. You can see them all individually or indeed in any order. But there is an arc that eventually leads to Cillian Murphy and Jim from the original film. And he'll appear in the end of the second film, and then the third film will be his. And it gave us the chance to make an original film rather than something that felt like it was a copy of the very first one.
OK, you see, that's what I took from it as well. You don't need to have seen the previous movie to watch this.
No.
Okay, like in the intro itself, with the introduction, by the way, just grabs you.
Yes, it does. And it also brings you straight back to 23 years later with the sounds and stuff at the start as well. You know, it's very clever.
Yeah, very clever. I love the cast, and I loved Ray Fiennes. And I just have to ask you a bit, and I'm not giving away too much, the little bit of Shakespeare, was that ad-lib or was that scripted?
Oh, no, that's absolutely scripted. It is wonderful, isn't it? You couldn't get a finer actor to say the bit. It's very funny as well.
Yeah.
He's an amazing actor, and he plays this figure, Kelson, who's, you're not quite sure what he's going to be. People say he's insane, and they do find him eventually. The journey of the film is a process of moving towards him. But you'll have to see the movie to discover what he really represents.
Absolutely. Yeah. I have to mention Jodie Comer. It was a show-stopping performance from her. I was just gobsmacked by her. But was there any moment that you thought, this is why I cast her? Like, I thought that the whole movie and I didn't even cast her, you know?
It's funny. There's something happens. In the first half of the film, the boy is taken to the mainland where all the infected are by Aaron Taylor-Johnson, and it's like an action movie. And you could see Aaron teaching the lad to be an action hero, you know, all the stuff. And then he spends the second half of the film with his mom on a slightly different journey. And she's passing on to him maternal love in an invisible, beautiful way. And he grows as a full adult then, rather than kind of just an action hero, rather than a kind of macho male thing. She's a very special actress. She's very gifted.
It's very powerful, yeah.
You've also got a special person playing the part of Spike. And you're saying that his character grew. He actually physically grew during the making of this movie.
It's frightening working with them, because they turn up, they come in every day and you think he looks slightly different today. What is it? And his neck has grown. And his feet. Yeah, he started off, when we started filming, his shoe size was 6. And by the time we finished, it was 9.5. That's what the costume department told me. I mean, you think he must be in agony in bed. Like, as the bones stretch, he must be able to hear them moving.
OK, but he's a great talent.
Harry Potter has got a lot to answer for. The standard of child acting now is phenomenal. When you go and audition for kids, they're all very good, but he was exceptional, very special, and very nuanced performance throughout. It changes throughout his performance until the end, yeah.
Danny, can I ask you, when I watch a movie like this kind of post-apocalyptic world, I kind of think I wouldn't be able for the running, the hiding, the combat. I'd be like, I'll get off the next stop, it's not for me. But then there's another type of person, I think, who watches this and they're like, I know where I'd go, I know who I'd link up with, I know how I'd get through this, right? I happen to be married to that type as well. But I wonder, what category do you fall in with these type of movies?
I think people love watching and imagining, could they survive?
Yes.
And then if you think I couldn't, you'd look for the person who could help you the most. You know, who you'd attack. So actually it would be Aaron Taylor-Johnson. He loves his bow and arrow.
Yeah.
And he loves getting out front and taking all the risks, yeah.
Okay, it is fascinating, all right. I whatever about, like, the UK being isolated, when I looked at the map and I went, we're in bright red as well. What's going on?
I know.
Is there too short a gap between across the Irish Sea?
Well, so I don't. It's a very difficult decision to make, and you have to make it when you decide to have a map. Is whether to include Ireland or not. And of course, the authorities would just include all the islands, you know, like the Channel Islands, and they just include all of them in it, really, as a catch-all. But also, the story has obviously its ultimate place has an Irish context, obviously, with Cillian himself. So who knows what might happen in the final episode?
All right. Okay. So we might be on the move, Danny.
I can't say anything at the moment.
Okay. It is in cinemas now, but like you've already alluded to, we've got 2 more to look forward to, which is fantastic.
Yes, it is. It's a wonderful opportunity for an exciting visit to an unusual Britain. Yeah.
Yeah, because this film was shot back-to-back with the next movie in the franchise, which is 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Now, you didn't direct this one. You've handed it over to Nia DaCosta to direct.
Yes, so we did them back-to-back. So I had to edit this film so it was ready for release now, and she took over with the cast. Because some of the cast, Ralph Fiennes, Jack O'Connell, they transfer into the second film. And it was hard kind of letting go, especially as they seem to prefer her. You know, because they're very nice to you actors, and then you realise, oh, actually, no, they've transferred their affection to this other director, so fair enough. Anyway, I've got over it.
Okay. Will you return for the final one?
I will. Oh, God, yes, I'd love to. And she's done a wonderful job. I've seen a rough cut of it. She's done a fantastic job, and she reintroduces Cillian in a very interesting, unusual way.
Well, she knows her horror, doesn't she? So, yeah.
Oh, she did Candyman,
yes.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we mentioned Cillian there. Now, when 28 years later was first announced and there was a trailer put out, there's a zombie in the trailer that people assumed, they're like, that's got to be Cillian Murphy. He's going to be the movie and that zombie has to be him. Watch it. There he is there. People just went, that has to be our own Cillian Murphy for whatever reason. What did you make of this 2 mad days on the internet?
It's crazy. I didn't even dream it. In fact, somebody said to me, everybody will think that's Cillian. And I said, don't be silly. I dismissed it as an idea. And then it came true. Everybody thought he'd lost weight. Well, that's a weight loss programme. Unbelievable.
But it is the cheekbones, you know.
He does have that. Yeah, it's very true.
Okay. You see, there he is there.
You know?
And then we saw the infected.
Oh, side by side. Very good.
Yeah. We can see why that kind of blew up. Are you enjoying being in Ireland again?
Oh yeah, very much so. It's my mum's from Ballinasloe and came over to. I'm from Manchester. She came over to Manchester in the 50s with many people, and I feel a strong cultural connection. Yeah, I really do. It's lovely to be here. I'll tell you what's lovely. Is you do these interviews, not like this interview, which is a special interview. You do line-up interviews where the journalist just comes in and out, and they become very repetitive for you. They're never, ever repetitive in Ireland. Never. Because people just want to chat. They're meant to ask certain questions, and they don't. They just get on with a chat, you know, and it's a beautiful thing, yeah.
And did you come back to Ballinasloe much when you were younger in your childhood?
Yeah, we used to visit. I have a twin sister and a younger sister, and we used to be there the whole time. I remember swinging on the gate on the farm, going to the loo in the barn. I remember so many things. Ireland's changed a great deal since then. But I have great memories, great affectionate memories of it, yeah.
And is it true that you introduced Ballinasloe to the Beatles?
I suppose it is, yes. I suppose it is. And there's a huge Beatles event happening. You know, they're making these 4 films about the Beatles coming up. Yeah. So we'll see what that's like. Yeah.
Okay. I have to go back to 2012 and the Olympics, and you having to shoot this video with the late Queen. It's true that she said, "I'll do it, but I have to have a line."
Oh, yes, she did. She said, well, I'll say something. I said, well, OK. Because we imagined she wouldn't want to speak. Because you never really, other than speeches, you never really heard, they stop you hearing what they say, you know, in conversations, really. And they don't do chats like this, obviously. So I assumed she wouldn't want to say anything. But she said, no, I should say something to her, shouldn't I? I said, well, go ahead, improvise.
Yeah. So she wasn't that keen on getting thrown out of a helicopter, though. That's where she drew the line.
She was very game. I remember when I first met her, she said, so we went to her quarters. There's a stateroom that you always see on the television, but behind that is where she actually lives. And it's just like anybody's house. It's like full of tea trays and rubbish and bits of, you know, an old teacup.
Please tell me there was a big laundry hamper of clothes.
Overflowing
with
laundry.
Knickers and socks hanging out of it.
Not quite.
No.
but very personable, and lots of pictures of her sister.
Okay.
I remember that vividly.
Wow.
That opening ceremony was amazing. When I told my dad I was interviewing Danny Boyle, he was like, the man who did the 2012 London Olympics opening, like, it really stuck out to him. But you have directed the likes of Ewan McGregor, Brendan Gleeson, Dev Patel. What was it like directing the Queen?
Well, she was very smart. Because what you get with actors is, you know, when the cameras turn round, you know, you shoot this way and then 40 minutes later you shoot this way. Actors always forget continuity. But she was as sharp as anything. She knew exactly what line was she put the pen down on, you know, the moment that she turned, all the timing of it like that. So she wasn't going to make a fool of herself. She was, I think what they wanted, they wanted a picture of her and her crew, her staff, with Daniel Craig, with James Bond, for the royal Facebook, WhatsApp, or whatever it is that they have where they connect with each other. And she wanted to post that amongst her people. That's one of the reasons I think that she did it. That she was enjoying doing it.
Yeah. Because apparently she loved a laugh. If something went wrong at a very prestigious event, she'd wait till she was behind closed doors to burst into laugh. So. Hey, who knew? I think she was a frustrated actress, if truth is known.
It's very interesting because the 28 years gap that you were talking about, they still have her picture up because they assume she'll have gone to safety.
Of course.
You know, like George Bush was after 9/11 and stuff like that, and that she'd be okay. So they still have a picture up on the wall.
Well, it's interesting the things that didn't happen in that world because the world came to a stop in 2002. So,
well, you'll see it when Spike sits down with Eric to have a conversation in a field, and Eric pulls out a mobile phone.
Yes, keep an eye out for that scene.
Yeah, it will let you know. Just you make you question some of the things that's actually going on in your own life.
In the time being, I know it does, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Danny, it's a joy to meet you. It really is.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
20 years later is in cinemas now.